I've seen an interesting story today. Let me just go through it with you, and then we'll go through kind of the repercussions. You can't get a cheap EV, no matter how cheap it is, can you? Here we go, fleet news. Third of electric vehicle contracts extended at Zenith to protect residual values. No, it's it's not really to protect residual values, is it, to be honest? It's that if they come back now and you try and get rid of them, you'll lose a fortune. That's what it basically is. They're extending it, keeping the loss off the books, not taking the medicine now. Who knows? It could be even worse in 12 months. That's the thing. 1 in 3 battery electric vehicle contracts have been formally extended by Zenith as part of Project Volt. They've even made a special name for it. Note, Project Volt, and it's electric vehicles, it's not ICE vehicles, because ICE vehicles have good, if not great, residual values. Battery electric vehicles don't, and they are tanking. No matter what people say. In fact, oh, blooming heck, where was it? Used EV prices set to stabilise in 2025. What a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish. Absolute garbage. Project Volt, the group's lease extension programme to address the decline in used plug-in prices. So they are declining then. No, these people know. All the people that get them on lease and, oh, I wouldn't get an electric vehicle, you know, because I just get it on PCP, I know how much it is, and then I don't lose money, you do. And so do the leasing company. However, despite some 29% of Zenith's BEVs being kept for longer, continued lower residual value profits hit the leasing company's overall adjusted EBITDA. Well, they're not profits, are they? Because profits wouldn't be a hit. These are losses. Let's get it right. Let's get the terms right with these EVs, and let's forget about all these myths. Certainly, there's 2 words you don't see together. Electric vehicles, well, that's 2 words. There's 3 words that you don't see together. Electric vehicles and profit. No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it at all. EBITDA was 33.8 million, down 28.4% year on year. Adjusted EBITDA, excluding RV profits, meanwhile was up 16.1% year on year. So, the profits are up 16.1% year on year until you add in the electric vehicle profits. Honestly, you couldn't make this shit up. You really couldn't. Zenith, which reported a risk fleet, it gets worse, doesn't it? Just say electric vehicles, we know what you mean. We know they're a huge risk. Zenith, which reported a risk fleet, electric vehicles, of 69,492 cars and vans in this year's FN50, has 170,000 vehicles under management, according to its latest financial update, with its corporate funded fleet increasing by 5.7% year on year. So it's got 101,000 vehicles which aren't on its risk fleet. Those will have saved it. They'll be cashing in on those profits, I'll tell you. They'll have them in the auction, dealers fighting for them, giving over book, giving over cap, just to get them, because that's stock you can sell. Do you understand that? Excellent, then I shall continue. Battery electric vehicle concentration in the corporate and consumer funded fleet and order bank remains balanced, comprising of 46%, 27,871 battery electric vehicles, and 46% of the 5,393 vehicles in the order bank. Tim Buchan, pictured above. There you go, there's Tim, he's got a big smile on his face, even though his electric vehicles have plummeted. Tim Buchan, Zenith Chief Executive Officer, said, while the trading environment remains challenging, our underlying business continues to strengthen, with adjusted EBITDA, excluding residual value profits, growing 16.1% year on year. We've delivered a positive performance in our corporate sponsored schemes, particularly salary sacrifice, where orders increased by 37% in the last quarter, year on year, as businesses look for cost-effective ways to retain employees. In our commercial division, we've continued to grow our MSU maintenance solutions, and our trailer rental business delivered a successful Christmas peak period. The new business pipeline, in particular for new fleet management contracts, remains strong, he added, with the industry not meeting the first zero emission value ZEV mandate target last year, Zenith is looking forward to the outcome of the recently closed government consultation, which requested input from the fleet and leasing sector to identify the support needed to encourage the uptake of zero emission vehicles by consumers and businesses. Well, there's no support needed. I'm going to let you into a secret. What you have to do when you're leasing a vehicle, you decide how much profit you want. You make a realistic forecast of how much the vehicle is going to be worth when it comes back. I mean, they've done it on ICE cars and they're making money on ICE cars. What's the difference? ICE cars aren't dropping like a lead balloon and they're actually saving them. So they're wanting government incentives. Well, how about this? All the money they've made on ICE vehicles because they got those forecasts wrong, how about they give that to the taxpayer? Not going to do that, are they? But because they've made a mistake on electric vehicles, they want taxpayers to bail them out. Get better at your job. I told you 2 or 3 years ago what was going to happen. I'm good at my job. Not as good as I used to be, but I'm still good. The new business pipeline, in particular for new fleet management contracts, remains strong, he added. Well, I'm sorry, but if you've got all those EVs in the pipeline, that is not strong. That's just waiting to bite you in the arse. With the industry not meeting the first... You listen to the... what was it? Dr. Andy Pandy. He forecast that everybody would meet their ZEV targets. He's very proud of that. And Colin Walker, the industry's met it. With all this hoo-ha in the past about not meeting, we can feel pretty confident that they're going to meet. We're not, because they didn't meet it last year, and they ain't going to meet it this year. And my prediction is they'll miss it by loads this year, because they've already pre-registered too many cars last year to try and get the targets, and they're starting us a loss this year. We're also encouraged by the recent stability in used battery electric vehicle prices that we in the wider industry have seen, continued Buchan. A flat year for the used car market is being predicted by Cox Automotive, with 7.6 million used transactions expected by the end of 2025. Well, the market went up 5.5% this year. The overall market went up 5.5%. So that's... If you imagine 105.5% and then you imagine 2.5%, that's how many used EVs sold. So they didn't even sell half the increase in the market. All of the EVs that sold, every make and model, didn't sell half of the increase. Okay? The increase was made up of ICE cars. Now, bear with me here. If you can't make money on new EVs, you can't make money on used EVs, what are you going to do? You're going to sell used and new. Oh, sorry, you can't sell new ICE vehicles, because if you sell new ICE vehicles, that means that you have to sell more EVs, and you can't sell EVs. So what you have to do is sell less new ICE vehicles. Then the other thing, 22%, we'll say a quarter, hey? You've got to sell 22%. Last year you had to sell 22% EVs. So 1 in 4 has got to be an EV. What if you don't? It costs you 15 grand. You've got to pay the government 15 grand, or you've got to buy credits off Tesla or BYD. You've got to give the Chinese manufacturers who are ruining our industries and causing this problem, you've got to give them money to buy their carbon credits or offset the carbon credits. What do you do with your petrol cars? Here's an idea. We can sell petrol cars. We're having to sell EVs at less than they cost us. Why don't we put the petrol cars up so that if we don't hit our target, we'll have made more money and we can offset the carbon credit purchase, and we can also offset a bit of the loss. So get some money back. That's what these people do. They're openly admitted they can't. Why have they not got these people into a new electric vehicle on lease where they make the money, disposed of the old electric? Because they can't afford to. They won't make, if they sell them, if they lease them a new electric vehicle, they won't make enough money on the new lease to offset what they're going to lose on their old EV. So they're pushing it down the line, they're storing a problem. Now, this time next year, when people perhaps don't want to extend the lease, they are going to be in the shit big time. Because EVs are still tanking. I mean, let me just show you this. Auto Trader, electric cars, 33,119. So they're up another 1,000 in a week. We all expected a big influx of used EVs because they'd be coming back off 3-year leases, but they're not, because they're extending the leases, so they've not come back. But they're still going up. So they've gone up 1,000 in a week. But the worst thing is, we'll just go again, I keep going on about this, but we'll go to year 2025, you'll see they're brand news. 2000, you can't trust the figures on Auto Trader now. As I did the calculation the other week, it told you how many electric vehicles were available, but when you added up the individual makes and models, there was 600 more. And that was only on, I think it was 4,440. There were 5,000. So you can't even trust the leading name in the motor industry to get the figures right. Is it done on purpose? Is it an accident? I don't know. It's a convenient accident. If it is an accident, it's a very convenient one, because it means that people like me who check these things every day and has got my finger on the pulse, or don't use your thumb, sorry, there's a pulse in your thumb, so got my finger on the pulse, unless I add everything up and go through everything meticulously, I can't trust their figures. I can't do quick calculations. Very, very poor. Very poor. Disgraceful. So we'll just have a look. Make and models. These are 2025 25s. You'll see their Jaguars are going down quite nicely. There was 307 of those the other day. Pre-registered 2025 74s. But what I'm interested in really is Dacia. There's 20 Dacias. Now, bearing in mind I paid nearly 9 grand for my Citroen Ami, which I love, which has only got a 46 mile range and 28 mile top speed. I love it. It's perfect. I just nipped into town this morning, went to Morrison's, nowhere to park except for me. There was a bloody Land Rover drivers, right over on the white lines here. So nobody else could get in one space because they wouldn't be able to get out. Citroen Ami in, got me shopping, back, through Starbucks, made the girls smile in Starbucks and at my car, and come home. Otherwise, I'd have been bloody driving around the car park looking for a space. So that was 8,890 quid. They brought out a Dacia. Here we go. They brought out a Dacia, which according to this has a £17,645 recommended retail price new. They've pre-registered these Dacias. Why would they need to do that? The car is only £17,645 and it's a cheap EV. It's a cheap electric vehicle. It's done 10 miles, 2025, 74 plate. They're knocking £4,150 off them because they've registered them. Why register them? Why register them if you can sell them? Do you think it might be because they want to get perhaps new to 12-month-old Dacias up? Do you think they might be thinking that the next time Auto Trader do a report and they cherry pick all these different ones, you know, like Kia's new to 12-month-old Kia estates? Hey, tell me you're cherry picking without telling me you're cherry picking. I mean, that's just, and then the next minute, 10 to 15-year-old Toyota GT86s, those with the wheels that are about that wide. But apparently, well, they're not that great to drive because I've had one. So anybody who tells you they're great to drive hasn't driven a great car. Here we go, another one, 13495. That one, he's not going to sell that, is he? He's still at 16645. When others are selling them, they just, you know, that is just a waste of money. This guy's advert is a waste of money. He's never going to sell that. That's actually got a cheaper retail price than the Extreme here. That's an Expression. This is an Extreme, and you can get the Extreme £3 cheaper. He's just wasting an advert on Auto Trader. He may as well take it off. He's not going to sell it. The sales manager there, the sales manager at this place, he's taking around the back and blooming giving a good talking to. He's just wasting his firm's money. He's giving Auto Trader money and wasting his firm's. Here we go, here's another Extreme here. 13,450, nearly new, 2025 74. You can get one with 10 miles on with £4,150. New car for 13.5 grand. Basically, new EV for 13.5 grand. So I bet they're cheap to lease, aren't they? What are you going to lease one of those at? 50 quid a month? How much are they going to depreciate over the next 3 years? Well, okay, let's have a look. Oh, funny enough, there's a lease deal here. That's the Expression. So we're looking at the ones, the Expressions. I don't know why they've not been reduced, but we'll look at the Expression. We'll go into there. Expression personal lease, £172.93 a month. And what's that? Jeez. Forgot my calculator. So here we go. Let's just make a note. We'll give them the, well, no, we won't give them the benefit of the doubt because the other one's got a higher residual. So I'll just go back to the higher residual, which was 13. So that's 13,495. It's done 10 miles. 13,495. You can buy a brand new one with 10,000 miles on it. You go in there with readies and you'll get it cheaper. If you go in there with readies, they will snatch your hand off. Which leads me to another thing which I must remember to do a blog on. Very, very interesting take, in my opinion, and one which was pointed out to me by my girlfriend. 50 years in the motor trade, girlfriend, 0 years in the motor trade. Do you think it's this? I'll get around to that. It's 13,495, lease deal from £170 a month. We'll click on that. I have to write it down here, sorry. So it's 36, that's 36. 36 times 172.93. 12 months up front, £2,075, £2,075.16. 36 times 172.93 plus 2075.16 equals 8,300. That's the 36-month one. 48 months. It's going up, £175.28. 60 months. 60 months. 242.48 times 60 equals plus 2909.76 equals 17,000. You would pay £17,458. They are expecting that car to be worth nothing. Zero. In 5 years, they do not want that on their books. They don't want that on their books after 4 years. 175, 242. So that's, let's just say, that's divided by 5 equals, so that's 3491.72, 8300.64 divided by 3 equals 2766. It's 700 quid a year more. Why? They don't want it on the books. That's basically it. So you can't get a cheap EV, no matter how cheap it is, can you? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.